Hello, and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 429. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Welcome. It is 2025. Woo! Today's blog is one of the last of the election-related posts. I'm sure there will be many more political posts in the coming year. But this is the last of these kind of immediate post-election ones. I've been sort of, I can only deal with them, every other week. So this one is also about my time in Italy during my junior year abroad. So there's a little Italian in it as well. And if you're joining me for the first time, amazing. Hello and welcome. The way this works is I'm going to say just like a couple more things, and then I'm going to read you the blog, and then I'm going to sing you a song that is related to the blog. And that's how it goes. So here's the blog. It is called America Hates Women a Lot More Than I Realized, or Thoughts from the First Week Post-Election. When I spent my junior year of college in Italy, I found myself not particularly bothered by the catcalling there. While there was a lot more of it, it always seemed kind of good-natured. When I walked down the street, men shouted, "Bella, ti amo!" Beautiful. I love you. And I didn't mind because I felt no implied threat behind it. It just felt like a kind of sweet, spontaneous expression of appreciation. When I got catcalled in the U.S., my home country, there was always something kind of dark and aggressive behind the catcalls. Someone telling me to smile suggested that they'd give me something to frown about if I didn't comply. Also, nice tits isn't quite as pleasant an interaction as being told you're beautiful and loved. No one in America would ever shout, "I love you." By the way, I know not everyone felt the way I did in Italy. For a lot of my classmates, they felt like they were constantly in that famous photo of an American woman hurrying down an Italian street, possibly terrified, as all the men on the street direct themselves in her direction. So I know there's a wide variety of experience. For me, though, I realized, in the absence of threat, how much threat I had been living with up until that point. The shouts in Italy made me understand the ones back home more clearly. Walking around in a woman's body in America often meant walking around under constant surveillance and maintaining vigilance at every turn. It didn't become clear until this last decade or so just how much misogyny runs through the veins of this nation. We thought it was getting better maybe because we got a few more women and girls on TV, or because some women inched up to making 84 cents to men's dollars. But I guess it has become clear that this country would rather put its collective wet finger in an electrical socket than actually elect a woman. A lot of people in this place would rather burn it to the ground than give women any power. I'm not saying anything American women don't already know. But I guess what I'm realizing as an American woman is what enormous hate and disregard I have been up against this whole time. It's like when I was in Italy, feeling the absence of menace and suddenly seeing the menace back home that had been there all along. I do not want to let this make me feel hopeless again. I have read all the grieve and keep fighting Facebook posts. I suppose that is what I will do, but I gotta tell you, this fight took nearly everything out of me the last trip around the merry-go-round, and I don't know how much fight I have left. I hope whatever's there is enough, but I honestly do not know. I've read that emotions and stress can have an impact on one's blood sugar, but I haven't, before now, seen that to be so for me. I felt a lot of stuff since I got my CGM, and the impact of feelings has been mostly negligible. The last couple of days, though, my body has been responding to things that normally don't impact me with higher and higher blood sugar levels. It has made me wonder if this disease all kicked off when it became clear we were going to be dealing with this man as a presidential candidate again. Did Trump give me fucking diabetes? I have no other reasonable explanation. And I feel very clear that he and the patriarchal wave he rode in on gave me the migraines back in 2016, so I don't really see why not. I don't love the idea of being a human weather vane for the patriarchy, but it sure seems like it might be the case. I've been watching mostly Italian TV this post-election week. I wondered why I was particularly drawn in that direction, aside from the practical, in that Netflix just released season 2 of The Law According to Lydia Poet, and there was a new episode of My Brilliant Friend. And I think there's something about imagining a world far away, in a country that doesn't hate women nearly as much as this one does. But also because I'm watching period drama, these women are in a much more patriarchal world than we're in right now, and they still find a way to thrive. I think I need that modeled now. I'm not saying there's no misogyny in Italy. There is plenty. But despite the extremely patriarchal culture, they still managed to elect a woman to their highest office. In a country that once had a literal fascist leader, they chose a terrible right-wing woman. It was not a good choice. But maybe it's further evidence that Italy hates women less than this country does. I'm still pretty numb, staring at the wall, wondering how to go on. I can't go on. I'll go on. Beckett. Wondering where I'm going to find the strength, what other illnesses I'll pick up in this patriarchal storm, like all of it. But I guess I just want to say to all my fellow American women who are feeling the deep cuts of misogyny right now, sei bella. Ti amo. You're beautiful. I love you. Technically, I should say to you American women, instead of ti amo, I should say ti voglio bene. Because ti amo is, kind of romantic love. And I don't know you all. I'm sure I would amo you. But ti voglio bene is the more kind of familial love. But, the catcallers don't say ti voglio bene. They say ti amo. And it's more immediately comprehensible to most people, I think. Ti voglio bene is very confusing because it means I want you well. But it's, anyway. So, ti voglio bene, everybody. Vi voglio bene, actually, more correctly. All of you. Boy, geeking out with language today. So this one is a little old, as I'm sure you can hear. But I don't think much has changed. And what song do I have for you? Well, having spent my junior year in Italy, I thought I should pull another song from that era. So I have learned a song by Eros Ramazzotti. This song was incredibly popular the year I spent in Florence. It was on the radio all the time, everywhere. I had this cassette, I believe. Maybe it was a CD, but I think it was a cassette because I don't think I brought a CD player to Italy. Anyway, I had the album, Tutte Storie, and it was huge. It was huge. I've been thinking of Eros Ramazzotti quite a bit in the last, handful of months because there's like 2 Italian gelato places in our neighborhood now, and both of them have played Eros Ramazzotti when I happen to either walk by or be there, sit there, have gelato, and it has delighted me every single time. He is also very popular in Spanish. He sings in both languages. I'm sure there's a lot more information about that. I don't have it. But when I was looking for this song, for the Spanish version came up first, and I was very confused. I was like, cosas? No, it's cose. Like, it's just like, it's the same song. And I listened to the song and I was like, something's not right with this. And then I realized it was in Spanish and not in Italian. But I think he recorded that entire album in both languages. Like, he rewrote, I imagine he wrote it first in Italian and then translated it to Spanish. But he's also giant in Spanish-speaking countries, in Spanish, not in Italian. In any case, I am delighted to be able to share Cose de la Vita with you today. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, awesome. Please tell someone about it. Like, review, subscribe. If you would like to support it with your dollars, that would be amazing. It's such a delightful surprise when that happens, and I thank you if you feel like you want to do that. Patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. There's also Ko-fi, there's PayPal. All those links are in the show notes. If you have a way that you like to support artists, I'm happy to join whatever it is. I also have a Substack. It's basically all of this same stuff, but on Substack, and on Substack it has like a link to the... Well, I can put an embedded podcast link into those. I'm a little bit behind on Substack. So if you want up-to-the-minute blog stuff, I would say stay on WordPress. If you're like, but I love Substack, then you can find me on Substack. It's just a little bit behind. Anyway, mostly I am grateful for your ears and your time and listening. And I will play for you now Eros Ramazzotti's Cose della Vita. I did not realize before I started working on this song that there were 3 key changes in this thing. And I only had a day to really learn this thing. I mean, I know it like to sing, sort of. But I had to learn the chords and figure it out and whatnot. And I didn't have a lot of time to do that because I had Christmas later due to the COVID. In any case, I had to do it real fast. So while I feel like if I had had a multitude of time to figure out how to do all 3 key changes, I would have. But with one day, you only get one. You get one key change. Also, I'm a little out of practice with the speaking of the Italian. So it was harder to get my mouth around all the words all the time. So there are a couple of words that I pronounce real funny. And I know what those are, and an Italian speaker will know what those are. I felt that the majority of my listeners will not catch those, so I left them. But please, Italians, forgive me for a few weird words that will be in the mix. And here is now Cose della Vita.
Sono umane situazioni, quei momenti fra di noi, i distacchi e i ritorni, da capirci niente poi. Già come vedi, sto pensando a te. Sono umane condizioni, stare bene oppure no, può dipendere dai giorni, dalle nostalgie che ho. Già come vedi, sto pensando a te. Come se questo tempo non fosse passato mai. Dove siamo stati, cosa siamo poi? confinante di cuore solo che ognuno sta dietro gli steccati degli auguri suoi. Sto pensando a te, sto pensando bam, 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 bam. Sono cose della vita, vanno prese un po' così. È già stata una fatica arrivare fino a qui. Già come vedi, io sto ancora in piedi, perché sono umani questi sogni miei. Con le mani io li prenderei, sì, perché sono umani questi sogni miei. Con le mani io li prenderei. Sono cose della vita, ma la vita poi dov'è? Dove? Se da quando è partita un inseguimento è. Poi dove? Già come vedi, sto pensando ancora a te. Questa notte che passa piano accanto a me, cerco di affrontarla, afferrarla. E se prendo le curve del cuore spandendo un po', voglio provocarla anche adesso che sto pensando a te. Sto pensando